Chicago, like most big cities, has its fair share of unsolved crime. And in most of these cases, somebody saw or heard something. Somebody may have seen a suspicious person, a car driving away from the scene, or simply overheard somebody talking about the case. With your help, we can put these criminals behind bars where they belong. Here in Chicago, we have too many unsolved murders. We need your help. In these cases, the police department is only as strong as the citizens that get involved. Oftentimes, all the detectives need is a tip, a start. Somebody to call in and say, I saw something. Any little information that you know can be the impetus to solve the entire case. On tonight's episode, we'll take a look at the case of Alexandria Burgo. On October 19, 2014, Alexandria Burgo, a joyful, humble young lady, went to pick up her brother at a friend's house. As she sat and waited in the apartment, bullets ripped through the window. Everyone started to scramble and Alexandria was fatally wounded. Here's her story.
Alexandria was born on March 16, 1996.
I was excited. It was the first baby I ever really seen at that time, and I was instantly attached to her. She was the cutest little baby.
Fortunately, I was kind of forced into meeting her. We would get together with parties that her parents would have and that our family would have, and that's how we would kind of get to know each other a little bit more.
Alexandria was very joyful, very lovable, friendly, humble. She was a very family-orientated person.
I just always remember her smile, or when I go visit my sister and she'll be around, I just remember her coming to me and she'll, hug me real tight, and every time she will leave, I always will say, I love you, and she will always tell me, I love you, Titi, and those words I will always remember.
When we got older, we started to bond more a little bit with some of the stuff that she liked to do, I like to do as well. So she liked to swim, I love to swim. So she had a pool, I would go over to her house, we would swim in it. She would have sleepovers a lot, and that would also have us bond a friendship even closer.
She was a very simple, humble girl. She would love, going to birthday parties and being with her friends, but the glamour thing, she didn't like attention.
I'm a little bit more, a little bit more dazzling when it comes to, like long earrings and a lot of makeup. And sometimes I would put my style of makeup on her and she'd be like, oh my gosh, that's so much. And I'm like, girl, I brought these earrings, you have to wear them. She's like, those are too big, So we had that relationship, and I was always trying to bring her out of her shell.
It's been 18 years when she came to our life, and we loved her very much.
On October 19, 2014, shortly before 1 a.m., the police received a 911 call of multiple shots fired into an apartment building in the 5300 block of West Oakdale in the Belmont-Cragen neighborhood.
Actually, that day, she was still at work, so I had brought some food home so that she could eat.
After her shift ended, she went home, saw her parents. Her parents invited her to go to a movie that night.
I asked her, do you want to go to the show? We're going to the show. And she's like, no, Mom, I'm tired. I'm going to stay home and relax.
A little bit later that evening, Alexandria's brother called and asked her if she could pick him up from a party that he was attending.
So he called her knowing she was home relaxing and said, come on, he was excited because he didn't get to see her as much because she was always at school or at work. So that's what she was doing as a sisterly duty. Loved being with her brother. Did anything for him. She went to go pick him up, and we would always tell her, be careful, call us when you get somewhere, call us when you leave.
She drove over to the 5300 block of West Oakdale in the Belmont-Cragen neighborhood. Alexandria went into the apartment, and shortly after she entered, somebody from outside fired multiple gunshots into the apartment.
I was still at the show, and next thing you know it, we get a frantic call. And I couldn't even understand my son's what he was saying. He was frantic. He was talking to his dad, and he just said, "Oh, Alexandria's been shot."
Alexandria was the only person hit by those shots.
You know, we just sit on the other end. We didn't know where it was, how it happened. So we're like, cover her, you know, stop the bleeding, do whatever you can. And he was just hysterical. So we drive to the incident where it happened, and we weren't even allowed to pass where she was at. They didn't allow us to go inside or anything. So they told us to go straight to the hospital.
She was rushed to the hospital, but unfortunately died from her injuries. Have you been in an accident? Have you been the victim of discrimination or had your rights violated? Have you been injured? If so, the lawyers at Hale Law would love to talk to you. We offer a free consultation. Call me, Andy Hale, 312-870-6926. 312-870-6926. I look forward to talking with you about your case. On October 19th, 2014, shortly before 1 a.m., the police received a 911 call of multiple shots fired into an apartment building in the 5300 block of West Oakdale in the Belmont-Cragen neighborhood. Earlier that night, Alexandria was working at a YMCA in the northwest side of the city. After her shift ended, she went home. A little bit later that evening, Alexandria's brother called and asked her if she could pick him up from a party that he was attending. She drove over to the 5300 block of West Oakdale, the Belmont-Cragen neighborhood. Alexandria went into the apartment, and shortly after she entered, somebody from outside fired multiple gunshots into the apartment. Alexandria was the only person hit by those shots. She was rushed to the hospital, but unfortunately died from her injuries.
This was a tragic, it was a senseless crime. They're not only hurting the family, they're hurting the friends, and we'll always have that pain.
It hurts because she's such an innocent person, and nothing like this should have ever happened to her.
Not for someone who, who lives in a good neighborhood, who doesn't hang out with the wrong people, who has pretty much done everything right. How does this happen to my family, to her?
It's a cruel world out there. This is why I'm here, to see why, and hopefully, Lord willing, there'll be answers.
The police speculated that the shooter or shooters followed somebody to the party, and somebody in that apartment was the intended target. Neighbors heard 7 to 8 shots being fired, and neighbors heard people yell, "God, no, God, no," at the time the shots were fired.
It was a reckless crime. You shot into a window, whether you meant to shoot at someone or whatever the case may be, you shot at someone and you killed a young girl.
If someone was watching this and know exactly what happened, or even have an idea and know who did this, I would hope they would come forward and know that this is something that shouldn't have happened. The person who did this should have not even had a gun in their hand, but have mercy, on my daughter's soul. I mean, this shouldn't have happened to her.
You should pay for your crime. You should know and take responsibility for what you did. So that means that you need to be off the street before you make another irresponsible move and affect another family and have them being in the same position that we are, which barely accepting, still in shock, devastated.
I feel like I'm not speaking just for me. I feel like I'm speaking for anybody who's ever experienced this, because it is something that's very, very hard to deal with. And the fact that there's people out there who know what happened and just won't say anything hurts, because I can't even imagine what they would want to feel if it was happening to them. Like, I'm sure if something like this happened to them, they would want the same thing done. They would want somebody to say something.
we just want to know who did this, because we want a closure, and we just want answers.
This is a case where the police don't have much to go on. Nobody saw the shooters. The police do believe that there were at least 2 shooters because there were 7 to 8 shots fired into the apartment. The police are looking for any information of anybody who might have attended the party, known somebody who attended the party. The police believe that the shooters followed somebody to the party, and somebody inside at the time was the intended target. So we're looking for anybody that might know someone that had a motive to shoot anybody at the party, or somebody might have had an argument with somebody, or some kind of dispute of any sort. Please call the Chicago Police Department Area North Detective Division at 312-744-8261. You can remain anonymous and provide information that you may know or anything you may have heard about this crime.
I just want to, encourage people to think first, and too much senseless violence is going on right now. It's every day, every single day, and it's just not worth it. Life is too short. Just put down the guns. It's not worth it.
The cases you just watched remain unsolved, and we need your help. If you have any information on tonight's episode or any other cases, please give our detectives a call. We need our communities to come together so we can take back our streets and make our neighborhoods a safer place.